Speaking of energy, just a little screech. I should tell you, it's very uncomfortable being here. I'm not used to being in rooms full of achievers. And of course, with all the talent that you've assembled, I guess the idea of Jim Davidson to get me here in the first place was that you needed some structured anticlimax at some point in the evening. That's me. Before I even do anything, I will ring in. I was looking at all of this. I mean, the setting, the way that this has been placed out, the great screens, the entertainment. And I thought back to one of my first engagements, which was the Lions Club in Joe Bat's Arm. And this is not the Lions Club of Joe Bat's Arm. You guys, and it's not a praise to the people, it's the ones that done it here, you have really put on a superb, superb performance. I should begin by acknowledging, of course, Madame Premier, and I believe also Madame Leader of the Opposition. Gentlemen, you will realize the way the world is going now. I also think you should give Mayor Nenshi just a little smidgen extra of the applause I know he deserves, because he has so strongly resisted the almost ferocious draft that's coming from Toronto. They want to trade. Speaking of Toronto, I should thank you just for the invitation to be here. I know I'm an outsider in a province that does a lot of things, and it is according to Newton's law. You may remember he said that one body, however wretched, cannot be in two places at the same time. So the fact that I'm on this stage now means that I'm not currently in Toronto, which is about a moral and hygienic elevation. Because the time is short, I have two things that I really, really wish to do. And it's because, A, the Premier and members of government are here, industry is here, the Mayor is here. And this is not some shtick. It's something that I've waited a long time to find the best group to say it to. It's going to be compressed. I'll say it in less than a minute and a half or two, but I want you to know, I really, really do, just how absolutely deep, how intense I mean what I'm about to say. It's compressed. I can't fill it out. But I will say it this way. 1992-93, Newfoundland got an arrow in the heart. The fishery on which for 500 years we built the entire life of the province, soul, body, and mind, was shattered. 31,000 people in a single day were out of work, which, just to give you proportions, if you were in Toronto and you picked up the Globe and Mail some morning, and I hope you don't, and read 660,000 people were out of work overnight, you'll understand the scale of the economic shock. And here's where the great compression comes in. You're the energy industry, you're the government, you're the citizens of Alberta. Newfoundland would have been crushed. You do not understand, and I haven't time to explain, just how savage that shock was. It was much more than economic. It was much more even than cultural. And it went to individuals and families. But by the genius of Providence, or by the great initiatives and energies of this province, that was at the beginning of your boom. And though it does not get often registered, over the last 10, 15, 20 years, thousands upon thousands, not only from my province, but from other provinces too. Here's what it is I want to say to Premier, Leader of Opposition, Industry, Mayor of Calgary. Do you know how much social misery, how much dislocation of individual families how many divorces were postponed, how much dignity of the individual was restored. Because instead of leaving a great pocket of 31,000 families out of reach, Alberta, and I mean it, Alberta absorbed over time so much. My closest friend went through divorce, loss of house, loss of job. In a nutshell, came up here, house is back, marriage repaired. He's making more money than some of you. Here's my point, and I'm saying it out loud even though I'm chewing up more time for another message. I think as a Newfoundlander, as a Canadian, it would be very nice to say, for sparing Newfoundland a trauma of the deepest kind, and for being there at the precise moment when this input was most necessary, Newfoundland says thank you to Alberta. I have a second message too, but I was watching some of these rock and roll videos, and they really, really are splendid. I'm just wondering when you're bringing on Neil Young. You know, I saw that he was giving advice on the oil sands from the back of his 1959 Lincoln Continental being shot from 2 helicopters. You know something? I wouldn't take advice from Neil Young if he was talking about the bare naked ladies. But his information on what goes on here, on the sophistication, on the technological miracles, on the amplitude of effort and industry and invention. He's not even in the same age. And then this week, there must be an IV drip of idiocy down in the States. This week, Robert Redford, whose last movie hit occurred at the same time that Tolstoy was learning to read. He's also saying to you, oh, it's the dirtiest oil in the world. Look at some of your films, man. Here's my message, because I do have one, and I'm going to concentrate it because this is an audience that really should hear it. And it is an audience, I need to screech, both political, industry, worker, and citizen. It's a point not only about Alberta, it's about the whole of the country. And here's this. One of the things that as an outsider, I have no skills, I'm in journalism, okay? As an outsider to your industry, one of the things that has alarmed me, puzzled me, robbed me of the innocent sleep that my otherwise wonderful conscience would allow me to have, is why this industry, and to a degree this province, I know the Premier is here, stands so silently at times when you are made the target of such slander and such misrepresentation. Here is my point. I'll give you 3 or 4 things. Samuel Johnson's great quotation.